Hey everyone, Ismail Kolia, Asia Realtor, Associate Broker with eXp Realty. I hope you're doing well. It is February 7th, a Tuesday, and I'd like to take an opportunity to go over the market report for January of 2023. A lot has happened in real estate over the last couple of years, but also just over the last 2-3 months with a drastic rise in interest rate, which has dampened the buyer demand for housing and so forth. And now what is happening with the interest rate and how is that affecting buyer demand and so forth. So I'd like to take this opportunity to go over some numbers and also just inform my clients, buyers, sellers, as well as potential buyers, potential sellers of where the market is today. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the graphs and charts from the January 2023 report of Keeping Current Matters. Keeping Current Matters is an industry publication that real estate agents subscribe to and read through and analyze on a regular basis in order to understand where the market is and how it is impacting their business. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at where we are. Number one is the panic is starting to subside. We saw a drastic increase from January to December of last year. In 2022, we had a huge increase in the interest rate and what that did with the buyer and seller activity in the real estate market. But the good news is, since November, December, the rate has started to come down, and that is starting to subside the panic in the market. All right, the upcoming months should see a return of buyers. So as the rate starts to go down, buyers are starting to come back in the market. And of course, don't forget that we are approaching spring, and spring is traditionally the busiest season. Spring and summer are traditionally the busiest seasons for real estate. So combination of the seasons as well as lower rate than a few months before, buyers are starting to come back in the market. Be advised, so this is from David Stevens, former Assistant Secretary of Housing, that this may be the one and only window for the next few years to get into buyer's market. A lot of buyers are hesitant about the rise in the rate from last year, but keep in mind that this is a unique opportunity for buyers to take advantage because so many buyers have exited the market due to the rise in the rate. Savvy buyers will see this as an opportunity to grab a property they've been waiting for. Remember, the sellers do not have as many buyers as they did a year and a half ago. So now, because sellers do not have as many buyers competing for the property, the savvy buyer has the upper hand and can request a reduction in price or help with closing costs and so forth. Long-term homeowners should view this market right now as a unique buying opportunity. If you're looking to buy a house and live in it for 5-10 years, this is a great opportunity. If you're looking to buy a house to flip it next year, to fix and flip it, then those investor minded buyers, investment minded buyers should be really cautious. But as far as long-term homeowners, this is a really good opportunity. Shares of homes having their prices reduced. We may think that sellers are in trouble. We may think that house prices are falling through the roof. It is against data. That is not true at all. Less than 1.5% of all the homes in the United States have seen a price reduce, meaning less than 1.5% of all the homes listed in the market have seen their prices come down. Very little. All right, so majority of real estate, that means 98.5%, 98% of listings in the market have not seen price reduction. That is huge. All right. By the way, houses are still selling and houses are still selling like hotcakes. In fact, 11,000 houses sell every day. That's right. 11,000 houses sell every day in the United States. And if you want to know that for a year, that's a little over 4 million houses every year get sold in the United States. And what does that mean per minute? 8 houses sell in America every minute. That's a lot. 467 houses sell every hour. All right. What about foreclosures? Again, uneducated buyers or uninformed buyers may think that the housing market is in crisis, that houses are going to be foreclosed left and right. The data shows otherwise. As you can see in this chart, at the very left, we have January of 2012, and all the way to the right, we see January of 2022. And look at where the foreclosures were in 2012. 35%. 35% of all the house sales in America were distressed. That means foreclosures and short sales. But look at where we are in January of 2022, perhaps around 2%. That means all the houses listed in America right now, only 2% of those houses are distressed, foreclosures or short sales. So no, the housing market is not in crisis. The sellers are not in crisis. And therefore, buyers should stop waiting for a crash to happen. We are not in the 2008 market, which had a real estate and housing crash in 2008. Those were due to a special set of circumstances around the mortgage industry. Since then, government has enacted many regulations which prevent that type of free lending, and therefore we're not looking at another housing crash anytime soon. And the data is right in front of your eyes. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next slide. How many months of inventory of homes for sale? When you go to, let's say, a store and you see that a bag of chips has been sitting on the shelf for 2 weeks versus 2 months versus 2 years, you know whether those chips are selling fast or slow. If a bag of chips sits on the shelf just for 2 hours and gets sold like that, you know those bags of chips are selling really fast. What about when a bag of chips sits on the shelf for 2 years? You know those bags of chips are not in demand and they're selling slowly. Well, let's take a look at where housing market is. This is 2011 all the way to the left. In 2011, a house would sit out in the market on average about 9 months, 9.5 months before it would get sold. Again, in 2011, a house would sit in the shelf, sit on in the market for 9 months before it would be sold. But here we are in 2022, 2023, and houses are sitting in the market for just a little about 3 months. So again, we're not looking at what happened in 2008 and after that. In fact, the housing market is really robust. We do not have enough inventory. And even with fewer buyers than say in 2020, 2021, fewer buyers than that, houses are still selling pretty fast. All right, what about the rate? What are experts saying is expected to happen with the rates? This is as of January 2023. All right, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae are industry giants. All right, Mortgage Bankers Association. We have NAR, which is National Association of Realtor, and then we have the average of all four. In quarter 1, Freddie Mac thinks that the rate will be 6.6, Fannie says 6.5, MBA says 6.2, NAR says 6.10, and then the average of all of those is 6.35. What's going to happen in quarter 2? Again, these are predictions, but these are predictions by industry giants. All right. The average of all fours, the prediction for quarter 2 is 6.05, so that'll be less than quarter 1, 5.9 in quarter 3, and 5.73 in quarter 4. And if you look at all of the giants, you can see that all of them are predicting the rate to go down quarter after quarter after quarter. That's good news for sellers. That means as the rate goes down, more buyers will come in the market. It's not so good news for the buyers because as the rate goes down, more buyers will come in the market. That means more competition for that house that you want to buy. There will be longer lines at the open houses. There will be multiple offers and there'll be over asking prices of houses. So if you're a buyer, time is now to get into the market and make an offer and buy the house. You buy the house at a lower price today because there are not as many buyers as before. But when the rate does go down, you have that option to refinance if it makes financial sense to you. So again, experts are predicting that the rate will be coming down in the next 4 quarters. All right, final slide. The current change in supply and demand. There's a lot of change in the supply and demand of housing. This is in favor of the educated agent. So the agent that is educating him or herself is going to be favored by these changes in supply and demand. But I would go one step further and say the current change in supply and demand works also in the favor of the educated consumer. So if you're an educated buyer or if you're an educated seller, this change in supply and demand is going to work in your favor. So take advantage of this opportunity and make that decision to buy or sell so that you can take advantage before the rates go down and prices go up and the buyers go up. All right, Ismail Kolia from Isha Realtor, eXp Realty. Give me a call, 914-215-1540, 914-215-1540. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to working with you on your next real estate transaction. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.